We all know that this COP is not an ordinary COP. We know that this COP comes at an inflection point of the world. In fact, it is our view and our belief that this is the most consequential COP after or since Paris.
Am I right?
Unfortunately, we just can't trust the powerful people tasked with addressing the climate emergency to actually do their jobs. Because we just found out in a pretty stunning story that the guy that you just heard from, his name is Sultan Al Jaber. He is the president of COP28, a global climate conference that's being held in the United Arab Emirates. We just found out that that guy has been striking deals for fossil fuels during this conference. There were documents leaked to prove it. We're gonna show you those documents. According to those leaked documents obtained by the Center for Climate Reporting and the BBC, Al Jaber used his powerful position as the head of the conference to lobby for oil and gas deals with almost 30 other nations. 30. Gee, is there a possibility that this could be leaked? I mean, there's so few people involved in these shady deals at COP28. So why did he do that? Well, he also happens to be the CEO of Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, or ADNOC, which provides about 3% of the world's oil. So, there's a little bit of a conflict of interest there. First of all, what is this conference? What are the goals? I think it's important to really understand that, to really absorb how incredible it is that this guy is making fossil fuel deals with 30 other nations. The hope of COP28 will help limit the long-term global temperature rise to 1.5 Celsius, which the UN's climate science body says is crucial to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. But that will require drastic cuts in greenhouse gas emissions, it says, a 43% reduction by 2030 from 2019 levels. By the way, the planet has already warmed 1.2 degrees Celsius, and we're already dealing with a lot of the negative impacts that come along with a rapidly warming climate. We're seeing it in extreme weather events. We're seeing it in flooding. We're seeing glaciers melt, including the Mendenhall Glacier in Alaska, which led to flooding in a community in Alaska just this year. We're seeing so many examples of that. So the idea that the president of COP28 this year is wheeling and dealing behind the scenes with 30 other countries in order to establish more production of fossil fuels, this is the reason why people have lost faith in institutions. They've lost faith in these types of conferences. This is why it happens. This is why people fall into the unfortunate rabbit holes of conspiracy theories. Because who do you trust when the people in power say that they're doing one thing, but then they're in smoke-filled rooms behind the scenes doing the exact opposite of what they claim they want to do? John, what are your thoughts?
Devil's advocate, the faster we can burn all of these fossil fuels, the faster we no longer have fossil fuels to burn. Just take it off the table, don't have to worry about it anymore. Arguably, maybe he wants the deal to get the oil so nobody can burn it. Maybe that's why. No, sarcasm aside, the two major bits of news about COP so far that have come out this week, I'm like, not 100%, but kind of happy about. With it being this and Joe Biden being like, I don't care, I'm not doing any of that. I think they're good bits of news. Because
look at John.
What?
No, I like it, John. Please balance out my negativity today. I need it. Go ahead.
Oh, it's dark good news, not good news. But the dark good news is if Biden went, then it might fool some people into thinking that he takes it seriously. Now he's not even trying to fool people. And maybe that will be a signal to voters, including young voters who are already questioning him that, oh yeah, no, he's not good on these issues. Maybe we need somebody much better. He's not even pretending anymore. And having the head of it doing oil deals could be a reminder, oh yeah, they don't really get much done at these anyway. So maybe we just need a big headline like this that tells everybody, you don't need to have any expectations for this. It's BS, it's networking for people who are tied in with fossil fuels and energy and all of that. So I think these are both great signals to people that this isn't the answer. And there are potential answers, and the longer we take to get to that answer, the more radical the answer needs to be. But maybe this helps stimulate some sort of push towards that.
I doubt it. Now, look, it is the president of COP28's job to meet with other world leaders at the conference, so there's nothing wrong with doing that. The problem is when you don't encourage other countries to be ambitious as possible in responding to the climate emergency, and instead decide to use it as an opportunity to make these deals face to face in regard to fossil fuels that have actually led to the destruction of the planet. Now, documents revealing plans to discuss fossil fuel deals were prepared by the UAE's COP28 team for meetings with at least 27 foreign governments ahead of the summit, which starts on November 30th, okay? So many of the talking points were actually dictated by the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company itself. Let's provide some of those documents for you right now. Here's one example. So they included proposed talking points such as one for China, which says that the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company is willing to jointly elevate international liquefied natural gas opportunities in Mozambique, Canada, and Australia. The documents suggest telling a Colombian minister that ADNOC, that's the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, stands ready to support Colombia to develop its fossil fuel resources. There are talking points for 13 other countries, including Germany and Egypt, which suggests telling them ADNOC wants to work with their governments to develop fossil fuel projects. Here's some more evidence that was leaked to reporters, okay? So what you're looking at is a document that instructs the team to ask the Brazilian environment minister for help securing alignment and endorsement for Abu Dhabi National Oil Company's bid for Latin America's largest oil and gas processing company, Braskem. And then earlier this month, ADNOC made a $2.1 billion offer to buy a key stake. ADNOC suggested the oil producing nations of Saudi Arabia and Venezuela be told there's no conflict between the sustainable development of any country's natural resources and its commitment to climate change. Well, what do you have to say about that, John? What do you think about that talking point?
Look, natural resources of a country can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't have to mean fossil fuels. It could be the talent of the youngsters.
Right.
It could be the
sure, that's what they were thinking about.
Delicious glacial water. Right. I don't know.
Big water.
Yeah. Look. That's how all of the oil companies and the natural gas, it's fossil gas, it's not natural gas, it's not made of whole grain oats or something. Like it's just marketing, it's fossil fuels in gaseous form. I hate that has become so standardized that everyone accepts it. Yeah, no, this is what BP has been saying in all of them. They're like, oh, people take this really seriously. So now we take it seriously too. We're still gonna develop it, but we're also gonna do a little bit of spending on the renewable stuff, and that's sustainable. No, we need to draw back as fast as possible. And right now, like, it is insane to me that we don't have a problem with how much renewable energy is just being completely wasted right now. All of the places that we could be generating solar energy, the sun is just hitting the ground right now. All of the geothermal that could be being built, and thankfully Google has that new geothermal plant that they've been spooling up. I don't know that technology as well, but it seems interesting. It seems like they should put some funding into it. Hydro energy and like there's wind energy. The wind is there. It's there right now. We could be tapping into it, but we're choosing not to. And instead we're putting investments and subsidies into fossil fuel development because it's sustainable. No, what they want to be sustainable is continued profits for the companies that have been making money for over 100 years in this stuff. Totally. That's what they want to be sustainable until they're dead and buried. Yeah,
and I mean, look, I feel sympathy for developing countries that look at the United States and everything that we've done, through fossil fuels and the advancements that we've experienced, the simpler lives that we've experienced as a result of those advancements. They're looking at all of that, and it's like, who's the United States to tell us that we can't develop our own country? I think that is a legitimate argument, and so we do need to help them in developing cleaner sources of energy. I think wind and solar is fine. It's still not enough to close the gap that would be left behind from the dirtier forms of energy, right? Whether you're talking about coal, oil, natural gas, which releases methane. Wait, what?
I'm kidding. I hate the term natural gas so much. It just bothers me so much. But anyway.
What do you like to call it?
Fossil gas.
Okay, fossil gas.
That's literally what it is.
Look,
natural gas is just branding. They came up with it as a thing to make it more palatable.
I mean,
oh, it's all natural.
It releases farts in the air, right? Methane.
Basically.
Yeah, lots of farts.
Yeah,
big
and how
farts.
much do you like farts?
Farts are bad. They're bad for the environment. Think about it.
But I like your plan. You have some sort of, I don't want to trigger Laura Ingraham or whatever, but some sort of like carbon reparations to all of the countries that have been left behind as we burn through so much of not just our natural resources, but the world's natural resources. I think that there could be some sort of equity in that way.
Definitely. So let's just quickly wrap this up by talking about the response to this reporting that showed that the president of COP28 this year engaged in these fossil fuel deals. Well, the COP28 team didn't deny using meetings about the summit for business talks. In fact, one spokesperson said this, Dr. Sultan Al Jaber. Is he a doctor really? Anyway, whatever.
I have no idea.
Sultan Al Jaber holds a number of positions. I just feel like they got to stick to one. Is he the Sultan? Is he a doctor?
Well, one's more of a political, one's more of an academic. I imagine it's probably a doctorate, a PhD sort of thing.
Dr. Sultan Al Jaber holds a number of positions alongside his role as COP28 president designate. This is public knowledge. Private meetings are private. We do not comment on them. Wow, great explanation. Great explanation for the very clear conflict of interest taking place here. They also declined to comment on what was discussed in those meetings and said its work has been focused on meaningful climate action. A spokesperson for the summit defended the choice of Al Jaber as president, saying this, the COP28 presidency has been consistent in our position that it does not make sense to exclude the people who understand the most about the current energy system from conversations about the energy transition. No, but he's not looking to transition. He's not looking to transition. He's looking to continue the very thing that needs to stop, right? Because it's leading to climate change. So there's no transition being talked about here. But let me continue with the rest of that statement. The momentum we have seen building as a result makes us confident that we will be able to deliver powerful results in Dubai. Anyway, enough of the ridiculous, thin excuses. I mean, and thin defenses. This is unacceptable, and it totally undermines and discredits the conference itself.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.